Chef Scott from St. Petersburg, Florida with another tip from the Magic Bullet Test Kitchen. It's great for dips and smoothies and power drinks and baby food. How about pie dough? If you're a family of 1 or 2, or if baking just strikes fear into your heart, you need to let the Magic Bullet help you out. Today, I am going to make pie dough. You're going to need this recipe for the upcoming holiday. As you see through the magic of television, I've added a few more ingredients to my table, and now we're ready to get started. I have 1 stick of butter, which I cubed into teeny little cubes like this, and put in the freezer for about 10 or 15 minutes. A 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 teaspoon of white wine vinegar, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt all mixed together. 1 1/4 cups of flour and 1 tablespoon of sugar. So take your tall cup, and we're going to put in 1 1/4 cups of flour and 1 tablespoon of sugar right into the cup there. And then this is 1 stick of butter cubed, and it's pretty firm. Just pop that in there as well. Is going to employ a technique that you'll read about in your Magic Bullet instruction manual. We're going to really have to shake this because the butter is pretty firm, and what we want to do is break it up, but we don't want it to be mushy or all homogenized with the flour. You can see everything is in there. We're going to give it a couple of pulses, and then I'll show you how I do it. So what we've done is we've broken up the butter a little bit. We've still got some pretty big chunks in there. We do want the chunks because the butter is what's going to make the dough flaky. But we've also cut it in, and we've saved ourselves a bunch of time by, normally you have to put that in a bowl and use the little thing and chop, 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 chop. I can flatten those with my finger a little bit. I'm actually going to give it another little whiz just to make doubly sure that we have all the flour that's up in the top. It needs to also have butter incorporated into it. Okay, so there you go. Now we're going to take this and we're going to dump it into this bowl. Now some of these larger chunks that didn't get chewed, I'm just going to go ahead and smush with my finger. Add your water, vinegar, and salt to the tall cup. This should be really cold, right from the refrigerator, or sometimes I'll even put an ice cube in it and put it in the freezer while I prep everything else. Here's our water. We're going to add all of our dough back in. And replace our cross plate. Now set it up and give it a whirl. Give it a good shake. I love to shake it up. You want that, you see it starting to all come together like a dough in there. Now one last time I'm going to put it in this bowl over here. So we're just going to press this together. Just until the moist and the dry all come together in a nice clumpy clump. You don't want to press it together too hard because that's going to squeeze out the moisture and squeeze out some of the fluffiness. And there you have it, 1 little pie dough. Now before we can use that pie dough, it's really too soft to roll right now. You see it's kind of really sort of smushy. So what I want to do is wrap that in plastic. Wrap it up. Now this is going to go into your refrigerator, for a while, probably an hour or more until it's pretty firm. We'll do that now. So now I'm going to show you how to roll this pie dough out. It's really easy. It does take a little practice, sure, but it's nothing to worry about. If your pie dough comes out looking like the continent of Australia, no worries. As long as you get it to the edge of the pie tin, nobody's going to know. So why tell them? So here's the pie dough that I made earlier today. It's nice and firm. You see I've had it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And here's how we're going to go. First, you want plenty of flour on your table or the area where you're going to roll out. The flour is going to act like little ball bearings and allow the dough to move around. You take your dough. Of course, if you want a round pie dough, then you should start with a round pie dough. You're going to roll it mostly from the center out. And every time you roll, we're going to pick it up and move it. So I'm just going to roll it a little bit, right? You want it to be the same width all the way across. I'm going to pick it up and turn it about a quarter of a turn. Roll it again. Now you notice that sometimes it'll stick on the top. Take a teeny bit of flour and just sprinkle across the top, again giving you that ball bearing sort of feel. And we're just going to roll it about. Now you see that I move it every time, and that's to get a little bit more flour underneath, because we're going to go kind of thin with this. We're going to go to about a quarter of an inch. And it's really important that you pick the dough up and move it around. It'll keep it from sticking on you. If it sticks, it's not going to be able to smooth out. Those little ball bearing flour bits under there aren't going to help one bit. If it starts to stick on the top, add just a touch more sugar, touch more flour. Now you see, this isn't round. It's more squarish, isn't it? But by touching it, I can feel just about how thick it is. It's probably a little thicker here than it is over here. So we're going to want to, oh, sticky, sticky. See, it happens to all of us. And just a bit of flour. At this point, you don't want to press too hard. You do want to press a little bit, but you want that to be about the same thickness all the way across, about a quarter of an inch. Now you've seen this on TV, I'm going to show you how to do it. You're just going to lay your rolling pin there and just pick this up and flip it over, and then just kind of roll it and pick it up. Now, I have my pie tin. I'm just going to lay this across the pie tin, starting at one side. Lay it across like that. It doesn't look like I made it all the way, so I'm going to have to do a little adjustment here. Just slide it over. Now, you see that I've rolled my pie dough so that it's actually bigger than my pie tin. What I want to do is lift up the outside and then press it down underneath. Lift up the outside and then press it down. You don't want to stretch the pie dough, you'll put a hole in it and that's no good. You just want to lift this up and press it down into the corners. That way it keeps you from getting that weird round end or a little gaposis where sometimes it can burn because the air can get in between the metal and the dough. So you just want to lift that up. That's pretty good. Now you just want to take your knife and just go around the edge. Boop, boop, just like that. And don't throw this pie dough away, that's extra. I'll show you what we can do with that. You could, make a quiche in this. How about making a quiche in this? Also made in your Magic Bullet. I have one finger and I have the other two fingers. One finger, other two fingers. Press, press, press. Remind you anything? That's why I love baking. So just pop it in the refrigerator until you're ready to go. Now remember I told you about these pie scraps? These pie scraps can be very useful for decorating, especially if you're not making a top crust. So you just want to flatten this out a little bit. Give it a nice little roll. And maybe for your pecan pie or your pumpkin pie for the season, you want it to have a little fall look, a little autumn going on there. So cut you out, I don't know, a couple of leaf shapes maybe. So there you see we have three sort of semi-leaf shaped bits of dough. I'm just going to use the back of my knife and make some veins like a leaf in there. So there you have it, easy as pie dough. Now I hope that you're going to try this recipe with your next pie. I'm going to pop this in the fridge because I have some ideas for some pie fillings. And if you keep your eye on the blog, you'll see those posts coming up in the next week or so. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Magic Bullet Station. And this is Chef Scott signing off. We'll see you next time. See? It looks like a little leaf. Isn't that cute? Oh, it's cute.